ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is first 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to it. Another edition of First and 12 Ounces. Today's gonna be a fun one. Today we dug in deep. We're gonna give you our top 5 rivalries that we think are out there, and we're also gonna give you our top 5 Heisman picks for the upcoming season. We will touch on a little bit more as it goes. I mean, those are our two main subjects, but we're gonna touch on a little more. Being said, I mean, I gotta kind of lead off with what just happened a few minutes ago. We were discussing it before we started recording the pod. Texas with two massive 5-star commits late in the day. I mean, well, I say one late in the day. The other one was announced on the Pat McAfee show this morning, and the number one linebacker in the country committing to Texas. And then literally a few moments ago, I was talking to Chauncey about it. We were talking about the next big pick being Cooper. I can't think of Cooper's first name, but he's the number one running back out of Florida. He's leaning Texas, and I thought that's who he was talking about, and I was talking about because Brandon Harris tweeted the eyes emojis and a hook'em sign. And I was like, oh, that's what he's probably talking about. Well, literally 5 minutes later, Texas flipped the number one defensive lineman in the nation from Georgia, who committed there 2 weeks ago to Texas. Two huge gets, but as Buddha loves to say, hey, it's July.
On a recruiting note, Auburn is ranked 66, still not cracking the top 50.
They're moving though.
Auburn.
They're moving though.
Oh, they're moving. They're moving slow, but fuck Auburn. Just want to get that out the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got that covered. But hey, I'll go ahead and start off for the top 5 my top 5 rivalries. And none of us discussed our top 5, so all of our top 5s are probably going to be different, or somewhat different, or look different, or sound different. And hey, they're debatable, so we can all touch on them and say, hey, why do you got that one there, or whatever, as we go. How do y'all want to do it? You want to go 5 up, or you want to go 1 down?
5 down. I think you said that backwards. Also, I think it's 5 down, 1 up.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
I will say, I mean, I think we're all probably going to have a very similar top 3, but we can start at 5 and work our way to 1.
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll finish off with our honorable mention.
Yeah.
All right,
Hey, let's give the list and then give a little background on the back. Let's let questions come for the. That we don't.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll go with 5 and then give y'all my reasoning behind it. If you got any questions for it, throw them out there. So coming in at 5 for me is the Lone Star Showdown, Texas A&M. 19 meetings. Texas leads 77-37. Texas has won 2 straight. The longest streak in the series is Texas with 10. But it's something that kind of disappeared for a while. But when you want to talk about in-state rivals, these two go at it to no end, and they hate each other to no end. When Texas won and years ago and A&M left to the SEC, everyone thought, that's the end of one of the greatest rivalries of all times, because A&M was too scared to schedule them. Well, then Big Brother comes in and says, hey, guess what? We're back in it. Now we're going to join the same conference of you and kind of pick up where we left off and put a beat down on them this year like normal. That was my number 5. Anything on it, fellas?
No, I mean, I know the hatred's there, obviously. I mean, Texas has a few rivals. Obviously, an in-state rivalry is great. Fans love it. I'm sure players love it. It was pretty competitive for a while, if I remember correctly. I mean, I know as of late, obviously, like A&M hasn't been great. I mean, they had the whole Jimbo Fisher debacle over there. But I mean, I respect the rivalry. I mean, like I said, I think anything in-state is always just has a little more juice to it, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the one thing that they slipped up on with this rivalry is they changed it. So it used to be just a trophy between the two for that game, where they changed the trophy to like all sports. So essentially, A&M's never going to get the trophy because Texas will win more sports in head-to-head over A&M. I mean, it happened this year with the East.
That's stupid. That's a dumb thing they did. Like, leave the shit to football, because like every school has big rivalries and like they don't mean the same shit, football or basketball or volleyball. Like, let football rivalries be football rivalries. That was stupid.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. When it comes to the trophy, I agree with you 100%. Like, yeah, the rivalry is going to be there through all sports. But to move a trophy from one sport to all sports is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Because essentially Texas could lose the football game and then beat them in every other sport and still get the trophy at the end of the year. So it's like an end of the year trophy is kind of dumb in that part. No, coming in at number 4 it's another in-state rival. They hate each other. They hate each other a lot. Also, the point that trees get poisoned, jerseys get put on statues, and people just hate it. It's the Iron Bowl. It's Bama, Auburn. They've met 89 times. Bama leading 51-37 with one tie. Bama is currently on a 5-game win streak. Their longest win streak is 9. This rivalry, it's something that I wasn't really big on until recently, and just seeing it more and more. I'll never forget. I know you hate it, Cole. The kick six. I was literally getting ready to go out, and my lady at the time, I was in the other room because I was like, "Oh, they're going to overtime. Let me go finish getting ready." And I hear screaming, going, "You're gonna want to come watch this like now!" And I'm like, "What's going on?" I come in there and the guy's running the kickback, and I'm like,
Yeah, unbelievable.
"Holy shit!" But yeah, I mean, it's a big time rivalry. I mean, you go from the last second touchdown a couple years ago to Isaiah Bond in the corner of the end zone, which I thought the ball game was over. I was like, they lost this game, and
Was
then
over. Was
yeah, yeah,
the ultimate collapse. That's
yeah,
equally a collapse as the kick six, in my opinion. Like that game was
yeah,
over.
yeah,
I agree.
absolutely.
Kick six never happened. It's been
Yeah.
canceled.
Collapse like 4th and 32. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
with a quarterback who can't throw the football.
He threw it then, boy. He threw it then. It was a good one. I'm pretty sure y'all ain't got any questions on this one because I'm sure this one's on y'all's list.
Why is it at 4?
Yeah, that my only debate is it feels really low.
But I feel like
Okay.
we have to see the rest of the list before we can truly debate.
Yeah, you'll understand why. Yeah, you'll understand why. Coming in at number 3 is the game. It's Michigan. It's Ohio State. They got 120 meetings. Michigan leads it 62-51. Michigan's currently on a 4-game win streak. Their longest is 9, so they're 5 away from copping their big thing. I mean, it's just Michigan OSU. It's one of the biggest rivalries in the history of the sport. It's generally always a noon game too. Like that's another thing that I laugh about whenever people like Big Ten fans complain about game times. They're like, "Oh, no, y'all's big games are generally there in the middle of the day. Like y'all don't really have big night games. They never really have, unless I'm mistaken, fellas. Y'all remember any of the big night games that they've had? Because I don't.
Noon kickoff.
Yeah, that's it. They're big noon kickoff for everything. So they're coming in at 3. I'm pretty sure they're probably similar on y'all's ranking, probably a little bit lower on y'all's ranking than them. So I'm not sure if y'all have any questions on that. But I think Michigan's just kind of in a driver's seat for that thing going forward, even going into this year.
I think the best thing about Michigan Ohio State as of late is that Ohio State's kind of been favorited so many times in the last 4 years in a row. Michigan just keeps beating that ass, and I love it.
I mean, Ohio State's been mega bitch. Like I don't know how else to put it. They've just been mega bitches. They're like the rich kid who keeps getting their fucking ass kicked on the sidewalk by the kid on his bike with 2 separate wheels on it. Like Michigan shows up and just beats the fuck out of them, and then Jack Sawyer literally in tears, like,
crying. You're not gonna put it on our flag.
Like Ohio State won a national title and got bitch slapped by a team that had no business being even in the same game as them last year.
And like the hatred that is in that game is so crazy that the fact that the state marks out M's on everything, it's hatred. It is true hatred. So that's who's coming in at 3. Number 2 is gonna surprise y'all. Because my number 1 is guaranteed not the one y'all thought it was. Coming in at number 2 is the Red River Shootout. It's the Red River Shootout. Coming in at number 2, it's a 120 game series. Texas leads 64-51. Texas is on a 1-game win streak because of one debacle. They gave Brett Venables some hope. Texas has the longest win streak in 8 wins. And I mean, when Sark's won, he's won big. I mean, both big blowouts that he's got. OU's only scored 3. Well, one of them OU scored 3 points, and the other one didn't score anything.
And mind you, last year Texas did not get out to a hot start
Whatsoever. No.
In their power to let OU take control, and then Brent Venables just went like
OU
chick on top of a cake.
Texas had never trailed a team until they played OU, and then they trailed them by 3, and then OU didn't score again.
Yeah,
Texas just
I
ran it
remember
up.
watching that, and I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my god, we have a ball game!" And then like go get a beer, come back, and whoop, there it went.
Same. When they got the turnover, I was like, oh, here we go. I literally walked outside. My dad had called me. I'm on the phone with him. I come back inside. I was like, never mind. Fuck. Well, talk about a blue balls. Fuck, never mind.
Yeah, and I mean, when it comes to settings, there I don't think there's a better setting than the Texas State Fair as your backdrop. You're playing generally most of the time at high noon, which is always fun, and it's just it's an experience that I if there's any rivalry game we all go to, this is one that we have to put on a bucket list. Buddha lives there. It's unbeatable. Like in my view, there's no more unique spot than the Texas State Fair for a football game. Because generally before the game, you're getting drinks, you're getting corn dogs, you're doing all this shit, and then your rival is sitting right next to you. I remember the most recent game that I went to when Texas blew them out 40-0. I'm sitting there, and then we're standing in line to get a beer, and OU fans standing in front of me, and he's like, "Oh, all right, Texas fans, there's not a line here. Just walk through us." I was like, "Yeah, just run through them like the TCU offense did. Just run through them." And he goes, "Bro, that's a low blow." He was like, "Really? Come on, man, that was a low blow." I was like, "Hey, dude, you said it, not me." And there was just it's a blast. I mean, you get old women flipping you off, you get little kids flipping you off because everyone hates everyone. Um, and then the unique thing about that is what other stadium is split 50-50? It's incredible. And the tunnel comes out. So when every year when Texas fans run out, they run out into nothing but noise.
Yeah.
Uh, Unbelievable. My number one, the Prestige is unbeatable. One of the longest played games there is, and it's Army Navy. They played 125 times. Navy leads 63-55. Navy's currently on a 1-game win streak. Navy's won this game 14 years in a row. Me and my old driver at the fire department had a bet every year because he was a Navy guy, and we bet a 6-pack on this game every year. The first year the Navy lost, he was distraught. We were at the fire station and we watched it. And I say distraught. At first, he was like, "Oh, we'll be all right. We'll be all right." And then when they lost, he was throwing his laptop, cussing. We don't lose to them. It's been 14 years. Well, guess what? Not anymore. And honestly, since then, every game's been competitive. I think it's the pageantry and the longevity of this game has them at number one for me because I don't think you can get anything better. I hate the fact that they started doing their selection show after the Army Navy game. I can't stand it because it takes away a lot of the lore. Because just think about it, both of these teams were undefeated at one point during the year. If they go into that game both undefeated and they're like, "Oh, we're not doing selections until afterwards," these are two teams that are playing each other and someone with the possibility of getting in. And if they go in, if the committee says, "Oh, hey, we're going to take Navy," and then Army beats them, how do you explain that? Like that's
There was talks of it this year of what was going to happen. I don't know how they're going to deal with that. I think the thought is they're never going to have to deal with it.
That's the hope. I think that's the hope.
I think that's
yeah, well,
the fingers crossed is we never have to cross that bridge.
yeah.
Now,
This year it almost bit him in the ass for damn sure.
yeah, no, I agree.
But hey, that's my top 5.
You got an honorable mention?
Oh yes, my honorable mention. My honorable mention is something that it's a game that I grew up on. I saw it all the time. Miami, Florida State. 70 meetings. Miami leads 36-33. Miami's current streak is a 1-win streak. Florida State has a 7-win streak as the longest. Bobby Bowden in Miami used to go back and forth. There was the year there was wide right, and then the following year it was wide left. Like these two teams hate each other. It's one of those in-state rivals that you can't get over. They hate each other to no end. They're always going to hate each other. They don't play as much as they used to, which kind of sucks. But what a great rivalry! I think it would probably be better if Miami actually had a college football stadium instead of where they're playing now because it would bring more of it in. But when they play at Florida State, it's an electric. You can't be beat. It's one of the greatest ones there is. Everyone shows up for that game. All the alums, you see nothing but superstars on the sidelines when they play every year, whether they're good or they're bad. It's a rivalry that kind of lost its lore, though. It's not as big as it once was because neither one of the teams are in that limelight as they used to be. But that's my honorable mention. Cole?
No, I like the list. I mean, obviously we all have our different opinions on every game, but I respect it. Am I next? Am I going next?
Yeah,
Yes,
good.
you are.
All right, number 5, Bama, Tennessee, third Saturday in October.
Great one.
Obviously being a Bama fan, it's a game that I care about a lot. I mean, we hate Tennessee and we hate Auburn. That's just the way it is. This game has a few unique things about it. One thing I like a lot is, well, first of all, 107 meetings. Bama leads 59-40. The longest win streak was Bama under Saban, 15 years in a row, just belt to ass every year. Which, look, I know that kind of takes away from a rivalry, but the last 3 years, the last 4 years really too. Look at it now; it's kind of coming back. I mean, Heupel's got something decent going on over there. I don't think anybody could really argue with that. My favorite part about it is the cigars in the stadium after the game. So that started in the 50s, okay, and it's actually interesting, which I didn't even know this part. Every time they've done that since 2005. So first they would do it in secret. But in 2005, they started just doing it publicly, like players, coaches, everything on the field, in the locker room. It goes down as a self-reported NCAA violation, and they just don't care. They report it, they pay the fine, but it's like, we won the third Saturday in October. We're taking it. We're gonna self-report. It is what it is. So I think that's a pretty interesting thing. It's a very streaky series. Obviously, I told y'all under Saban, 15 wins in a row for Bama. Under Fulmer, Phil Fulmer, Tennessee won 10 out of 12 years. And, it goes back and forth. Bear Bryant won 11 in a row when he was a coach. And hopefully we never see another Tennessee run again. But they had a few other runs where they'd win like 4 or 5 in a row. Bama win 4 or 5 in a row. It kind of goes back and forth. That the rivalry really started when Robert Nealon was the coach, and then Bear Bryant was the coach, obviously. That's when it kind of got born. That's when they say, like, that was the birth of the rivalries. That's when it became competitive. So that's my number 5. Number 4 is Red River. I'm not going to say a whole lot about it. I know Pete had a lot on it. Obviously, the Texas State Fair thing I think is really cool. It's two teams who hate each other. To me, hatred is important for the rivalry because, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I'm not going to go back through, 120 meetings, Texas leads, obviously, blah, blah, blah. First game played in the 1900s when Oklahoma was still a territory. I did not know that. Early 1900s. It was like 1900 something.
Right.
I didn't realize. I mean, I think that's a pretty cool thing to have in your back pocket when you're talking rivalries. I think that's phenomenal. At least one team has been ranked in this game on 70 occasions, including every one of the last 19 meetings until 2022. So that kind of says a little bit about both these teams. Usually were pretty good. Obviously, Oklahoma, I guess over the last few years, hasn't been as good. But, I mean, look, I think that's a great rivalry. I think it means a lot to the players. I think it means a lot to the fans. And I think, I don't know, Pete, how long has it been at the State Fair? Has it always been at the State Fair? Is that
Always been at the State Fair. Always been at the State Fair.
that's
Always been at the Cotton Bowl. There were talks about them possibly moving it to Jerry's World, and everyone, both sides, were in an uproar and were like, "No, you're not taking this away. You're not going to move this into NFL stadium. Leave it in the atmosphere it was." And both teams came up with the plan with the Cotton Bowl that in order for the Cotton Bowl to keep this game, they had to do renovations. They're actually about to finish renovations for this year. And that's another thing. There's not a bad seat in that stadium. I don't know if y'all ever been there or not, but it's an older stadium, but there's not a bad seat in that stadium whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm torn because, a neutral site game is obviously like, it kind of gives a little juice, but I think it takes away some juice. I think a home, like, anytime you're playing out of school, I think it's harder to win, for one. For two, I think if you do win out of school, it means more, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hold on, one second, Cole. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Buddha, let's get a reset on your camera.
What do you want me
because
to do?
your screen's black. So I guess hop out and hop back in. There we go. You're good now. That way I don't have to put up another image.
Look, I got one of my buddies is coming. He's staying the night at the house tonight, and I was like, I'm about to hop on a podcast to record. I'll be on there till probably about 6:30, and he just called me. Like,
that's what it was. It took you out. Like, I was like, oh man, I don't want to have to put up another graphic for Buddha the entire time.
No. All right, so number 3 for me is the game, Ohio State, Michigan. Pete kind of got into it. Michigan leads 65-51, 120 total meetings, a few ties in there. I didn't put ties on my list. Since 1918, had alternated from Michigan to Ohio State, which again, to me, that's part of a rivalry when you go to each school every year. I just think I think it adds a little juice to it. The 10-year war, which you didn't mention, Pete, so I'll touch on that a little bit. That refers to a time when it was Coach Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler. Might be pronouncing that wrong, might not be.
No, you
Um,
got it.
that was when
Perfect.
both teams were always in the top 10. You had 7 matchups when they were both ranked in the top 5 in the 70s. That's kind of when, I guess you say when it became birthed. I mean, that's when it became like a true like competitive rivalry. Obviously both teams were playing for a spot in the national championship for all those years, which I think, again, when the games play late in the season like that, that adds a ton of excitement to it. Fans hate each other. I mean, you said all that. Buddha, I'll tag on what you said. Like the whole thing with Jack Sawyer crying in the field, like while he looks like a bitch about it, but it does show like the passion that like these dudes like they cannot take losing to one another. They can't even.
It means everything.
Also,
I respect that. I do respect that. I mean,
yeah. Also, a fun fact about that rivalry, if I'm not mistaken, this is the rivalry that Woody Hayes also retired on after the season because he punched another player in the neck.
Yeah, something crazy like that, something insane. I mean, look, anytime you have a phrase like the 10-year war in a rivalry, I mean, I think it has to be a top 3 rivalry. I don't think it's anywhere around that at that point. Number 2 for me, no surprise here, is Army-Navy because we all know what I'm putting at number 1. Look, Army-Navy, I think nothing just screams America like the 2 service academies just brawling on the football field. It's just, I feel like that's the one game of the year that no matter, whether you're a LSU fan, Texas fan, Notre Dame, Bama, who cares? Like, you're watching that game, and it's so much fun because you really don't have a true dog in the fight. You're just American. You're just fucking fired up for it. You can't wait to see the uniforms they bust out. You can't wait to see what they do pregame with the flyover or parachuting in, whatever it is. I think it's just exciting. I love it. I guess I didn't realize it's as much, but to the service, people, the people who play in the game, it means a lot to them because they have this whole like inner competition between different branches, obviously, right? But a lot of them, this is their last football game they'll ever play, because they're going off, whether they're going to war, whether they're going to go work and do whatever. I think that adds a ton to it because you're talking about, it's almost a retirement game. It's almost a farewell game, and unless they make the playoff or they make a big bowl game. But my understanding is that a lot of times they don't make a big bowl game. A lot of them just kind of go off and they go serve because that's what they're do, right? The game actually, which I didn't know this, in the 1960s, the game a ton of times had like national championship implications, which neither of them were really ever like gonna make it to the national championship, but it just had a ton of, they're both pretty decently ranked, had a ton going on there. And obviously, Pete, I don't know if you said Navy won the last 14, but what I have down, Navy won 14 in a row in the early 2000s because actually the last few years it's kind of been going back and forth.
Yeah, no. The longest win streak is the 14 from Navy.
Right.
Yeah,
in the early 2000s. And the Navy won last year, obviously, when it was kind of crazy because there's kind of almost a CFP spot on the line for that, which is pretty wild. That's something you usually get with that game. So that's my number 2. I don't know if y'all have anything on that. I mean, I think we all agree.
I do have one thing on it, because me and you did talk about it, which would make the rivalry even better was if we both said it. So Army, Navy, and Air Force play for the Commander in Chief's trophy. If Air Force was actually good, that 3-way rivalry would be unbelievable. But Air Force has never been able to put it together. If they could get just a couple of seasons of making it competitive, it would be unbelievable. Because it would be every year. It'd be like, oh, here we go. This is it. This is it here.
It also, Air Force is just like cool. Like if they were good, they would just be cool. Like they're in Colorado. They have sick facility. Like if you see like the stuff on like the campus, it's unbelievable. Their color scheme is kind of sick. Like they would just be a cooler deal, but they just blow dick.
Like,
and honestly,
that's on the ground outside the Commons area, bro.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Like, and then honestly,
talk about bringing the heat with uniforms, dude. Air Force has some
dude, they're legit. Like they bring the fucking heat with them.
That's the other thing that the Army Navy game brings. They have the best uniforms every single year. Every year.
What
and just unbelievable. And they come out with a new one every year, and you're just like, holy shit, here we go. Here we and honestly, like it's the end of the year, everybody's ready for hey, we got bowl games coming up, we got national championships coming up, but then it's like, hey, let's go out with a bang. Let's watch these guys beat the shit out of each other and play in some badass uniforms. Also, fun fact: Shane Gillis was a West Point kid to play football at West Point and then quit the team.
I mean, for a week, right? Well, it was like a week and a half.
It was short.
Still, the dude he was like, I'm on campus, and he's like, I don't want to fight a war. I'm out of this. I'm out. I'm out. But how great is that? I guess.
Also,
What's that?
I think Connor Stallions got his start in the college coaching world at Army.
I'm pretty sure you're right. But that's not where he learned. I promise that's not where he learned the cheat.
Also, fun fact: shout out to childhood friend of mine, Stephen Bexley. He actually was a tight end for Navy. I don't think he ever actually played, but he was on the squad. He was a Marine for years, and then from Marine he transitioned to the Naval Academy and was on the tight end squad for a while. And he used to share pictures with us, and we were like, "Hey, Bex, look at him! Look at him!" And I don't think he ever actually played in the game. I think he actually went in. I think he actually went and got shipped off after the fact too.
All right, number 1, Iron Bowl. No surprise there. I mean, look, dude, it's Bama. It's just pure hate. Like, it is pure hate. I cannot describe how much I hate Auburn. I know they hate us, but they're fucking cowards, so who cares? Never forget, not in the top 50 in recruiting yet right now. 89 total meetings. Bama leads 51-37. Bama has the longest win streak at 9. Currently, Bama has won 5 in a row. Fuck Auburn. Just go ahead and throw it out there. Look, a big fact about this, we talk about length of rivalries. There was a 41-year break in the early 1900s from 07 to 1948. First game was in 1892, by the way. 92. Just absolutely insane. The break was because of officiating, contract scheduling issues, whatever it was. I mean, that was so long ago. Who really knows? But, if you play those games, I mean, it's right up there with the longest rivalries in history, which I think would that would give it a little more of a feather in the cap to a lot of people. It was obviously Bama used to play their games in Birmingham at Legion Field, so it was actually played there for years. And that's kind of how it got its name. Birmingham was one of the leading industrial cities for iron. So it was played in Birmingham, so Iron Bowl. Great name. Why not? It's played right there. Might as well roll with it. Bama and Auburn account for 38 SEC titles. It's pretty cool, especially because Alabama owns 30 of those. But, I mean, look, who's counting? I'm sure Auburn trying to look hard, but, look, Auburn's little bro. They always will be. They're trash program. I think it's the greatest rivalry in football. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. Pete, you talked about, poison the trees. Harvey Updike, our hero. I mean, no, fuck that guy. Wait, no, yeah, he's cool. Poison the trees at Toomer's Corner. I mean, and then there was burning of fields. There was burning of trees. Jerseys on monuments. It's just hate, man. It's just hate. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I know y'all understand it because y'all are college football fans too, but that's my number 1. I mean, I don't see any world where you could have it at 4, Pete. I just think that's a horrible take. But look, respect your list, just like I'm sure you respect mine. Anything y'all want to add on that being my number 1?
The only thing that I need to add on it, sorry to cut you off, Buddha, is it's not the Red River rivalry. It's the Red River Shootout. I understand that they changed the name because they had the school
Triple
shootings.
R, baby.
All respect, and things to that. But it's the Red River Shootout.
I'm not
Period. That's the name of it.
I don't get paid podcast to get
the Triple R.
Buddha, you got anything on Iron Bowl?
No, I mean I don't know. Maybe it's because I SEC kid watching so much SEC football just because LSU was in it. So to me, the Iron Bowl is it's always been an awesome game. There's always great memories for that game. When it is it always felt like Auburn was gonna always have a puncher's chance no matter how bad they were. Kind of like 2 years ago. I don't know. I have a lot of fond memories of watching that game just because it's always been fun.
Yeah.
And just at the time of the year it's at. There's more often than not in my lifetime, one of those two teams was in position to play for a national title. and that game was going to have something to say about it. That the Iron Bowl for me is awesome. Like it's unbelievable.
And look,
I think the reason it was so low for me is, to me, Auburn's always the guy have to win it in the last second. They have to win it off of a kick six. They have to win it off of something. They never dominated games. Alabama always dominated the games, in my view. That's why it was so low on me. It literally seemed like Big Brother picking on Little Brother all the time. So that's why I couldn't have them that high.
yeah. Well, honorable, but I'll get to honorable. But one thing too about Iron Bowl is that Buddha just touched on, with it being played on like the big rivalry weekend. I think that weekend is magical. I think everyone who loves college football should love it, and I think that adds a little juice to it. Honorable mention, I have Clemson, South Carolina. As of late, man, it seems like it's a fired up game. I mean, I didn't get too deep into history with it. All I know is every time I've watched it, it's very competitive. They clearly hate each other. It's in-state rivalry, which obviously I've already said that I like that. It seems like there's a hatred there. I mean, like I said, I didn't dig too far into it, but I like the game. I think it's competitive, and like I said, it seems like they really put a lot into it. That's kind of what I got on it. Not a whole lot more.
I mean, and look at it. Look at this past year. Like, South Carolina beat them. Clemson goes on to win the ACC and get a playoff berth. If Clemson doesn't win the ACC championship, they're not going into the playoffs.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Plain and
simple.
This year, if they don't win the ACC,
and plain and simple, I mean, SC puts a feather in their cap that, hey, guess what? We beat our rival. Not only do we have this remarkable season that everyone keeps talking about and bringing up, but we beat our in-season rival. Like,
don't forget, they also beat them a couple years ago with Rattler.
Yeah, that was when Beamer Ball was in full effect.
Huh?
Beamer Ball was in full effect because they beat Tennessee the week before, right? They went on that back end stretch with their last two games. They massive upsets.
Yeah.
That game's fun. I like that pick. That's a sneaky one.
All right, Buddha, let's hear your top five.
All right, I'm not gonna bore everybody with the same old fucking facts that everybody's just it gets a little repetitive. The one game that I have in here that I didn't look up facts for a specific reason because it's a gut feel thing. My number 5 is the Egg Bowl. I think it's the ultimate what college football is about. Neither team is ever competing for a national title. They're both usually competing and maybe playing a bowl game. Ole Miss has been a little bit better here recently. That game's got real fucking hate. The fact that it's not played on Thanksgiving night anymore is stupid. The NFL can get fucked for moving that game on Thanksgiving night. My whole childhood was awesome. Every Thanksgiving eat, and then that night people would have drinks and you'd watch the Egg Bowl, and it's just true hate of two schools that mean nothing to the country. They mean nothing. This is their Super Bowl, and it's like it's all that matters to them. I love the Egg Bowl. Egg Bowl's got a special place in my heart. I didn't want to look up like all-time stats because it doesn't matter. To me, the Egg Bowl is the definition of college football. That is what rivalries are about. It's not about like how many national championships you have. It's can we beat the in-state school that we hate? It doesn't matter that we have 3 wins this year. If we win this one, we're heading into the offseason pumped up. I love the Egg Bowl.
Look, I'm a fan of the Egg Bowl too. I love that pick. That was almost my honorable mention, but I was like, I wanted to go a different route. In-state rivalry again. I cannot preach enough how much I love in-state rivalries. And to your point, I love the fact that neither of them were ever really playing for much. They didn't give a shit. They still wanted to beat the shit out of each other, period. And yes, it should always be played on Thanksgiving night. That pisses me off, dude. Because again, I'm with you. Like, it was magical. It was magical.
It was like the best way to cap off Thanksgiving. So I'm going to number 4. This one's gonna be a little low in my list. I've got Army Navy here, and it's just solely because I think it's so tradition based. I think it's definitely a top 5. I think you're splitting hairs with everyone from here on out in my list.
Yeah.
I just think Army Navy, I feel like the viewership's crazy from the start of the game. I feel like people get a little bored with the style of play sometimes. And I do feel like it's at a point in the year where it's the only thing on, so like you watch it and you get excited. But I think with the new structure of college football, people are jacked up about playoffs and what their team looks like. And again, I think it's like an all-time tradition game. I think it's an unbelievable rivalry. Like everything about it's fantastic. I just have it 4th on my list solely because they haven't really played for anything in a long time that's of meaning.
Yeah.
And it's not in my backyard, like say the Egg Bowl. I know that, like, to me, it's kind of the similar thing. Like, it's true hate. It's good college football. It just doesn't have some of the magnitude to the national landscape that I want some of my top 3 rivalries to have.
Yeah, yeah. I did have that factor in there too, that it is always the most viewed game, but
Yeah,
it's also the only game on at that time too. So
yeah. I think so. My number 3, I've got Texas OU at 3. And again, when I say split hairs, these top 3, I went back and forth in these top 3. I went back and forth in these top 3 even while y'all were talking and convincing me otherwise. I got Texas OU at 3, and I think it's an unbelievable tradition. I think both teams being nationally relevant as often as they have been. I mean, OU's down right now, but like we're talking 4 years ago, OU was in the mix, right? Like Texas has obviously been in the mix for a long time. Even their down years, this is a super fun one. It's an early season rivalry, which I personally love because it gives you a taste of that real hate early in the season. The atmosphere to me is a fantastic atmosphere. I don't think it's a super hostile atmosphere. I think it's hostile at half the field, and the other half the field's hostile. The reason I have it at 3 is because they do play it at a neutral site. I think the neutral site makes it a top 3 one, but I just think it keeps it out of the top 2 for me. Just because half the game, it is unbelievably loud. The other half of the field, it's like a home game. So that's where I have it there. My number, anybody got anything there? I mean,
no, that's pretty much no. We're good. You're
Yeah,
good.
I agree with pretty much all that.
my number 2 is the Iron Bowl. The Iron Bowl, like I said, for me has always been this unbelievable like viewing experience. It's always so much fun. The game feels like it has so much magnitude, even though Auburn has kind of been not kind of, they've been little brother, right? But it feels like when Auburn does take the swing and beat them, like Auburn's doing something. They're going to play for a national title. Like that's the feeling.
And they're
And
gonna
and you know, like Pete brought up, like it feels like Auburn always has to win on a last second play. That game seems like it always drums up something nuts in it. There's always either a crazy comeback, I mean, or the kick 6, or the dagger play, or whatever they called that play to Isaiah Bond. Like there's always crazy shit in that game. Iron Bowl's incredible, real hate. That's like the definition of SEC football, in my opinion. Like that's what college football in the South is. That's 2 heavyweight programs. It divides families in that state, right? It breaks families apart. Like people don't get married because they find out the other one likes Auburn versus Alabama. Like it's crazy shit. That's an incredible one to me.
I would divorce Nikki tomorrow, actually today, if she told me.
That's what I'm saying. It's a nuts one, dude. My number 1 is the game. It's Ohio State, Michigan. It's for me. It's a lot of the same reasons the Iron Bowl. It's a ton of hate. It's real hate. Like Pete touched on, they scratch out every M. I think for me it's number 1 though because they've just been nationally relevant, both of them, for forever. It feels like, and you had the 10-year war. Right now, I mean, they just won the last 2 national titles. Like guys are crying on the field. They're the one rivalry that I truly look at and think their fan base would say we'd rather beat them than win a national title, and I believe those people. Like that rivalry is insane. Again, these are splitting hairs. I've got the game as number 1 for me. To me, that's like traditional college football. I think it's a top 5 rivalry in all of sports. Is where I have Michigan OU. It's just a historic 2 heavyweights, and it doesn't feel like they're going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I have no qualms about that. I kind of pretty much agree with it as well. As far as your list, Bo, you got a list. Oh wait, Buddha, who's your honorable mention?
Honorable mention's tough for me, right? Because obviously LSU doesn't have a true rivalry, so I felt like this was a good opportunity to get him on my list. They're not deserving of the top 5. This might be 10th on a lot of people's list. I don't care. It's my opportunity, and this is based solely on my lifetime. I think LSU Alabama is an incredible atmosphere every time they play. And Alabama's owned LSU. Not running from that. But that environment every year is incredible. I know Cole's been to Tiger Stadium, I think, last year? That place was fucking electric factory. The 19 game in Tuscaloosa was electric factory. Similar, it's got a little similarities to Auburn, Alabama. It feels like when LSU gets them, LSU's going to do something LSU's on pace to win a title. I know they didn't in 22, but it does. It's got that mystique to it.
Yeah.
I love that game, and it always feels like LSU's got a puncher's chance. The media kind of always thought, well, I think they might better do it this year, and they usually don't. Right now, in the last 5 years, it's gotten a little bit more competitive, but I put that one as my honorable mention because I do think in the modern day of college football, it's been a premier one. Like it gets the primetime slot every year. I think it's a great atmosphere, and I think there is hate there, even if it's just from one side.
My only kickback on that is y'all have a rival. Y'all play at a unique time too. Y'all play them the day after Thanksgiving. Texas used to play the day after Thanksgiving. LSU and Arkansas used to play the day after Thanksgiving for the
Yeah,
Golden Boot.
I think that started like in '98.
It's still that's like when y'all used to play and it mattered. That was one that was kind of like, hey, this is it. And honestly, that trophy is pretty unique too,
It's
and it's
a big
heavy as
trophy.
fuck. Like you ask any of the like all the players they a couple of years ago I saw it on SEC Network. They were talking about they were like, how heavy is that trophy? And players are like, oh, it looks light. He goes, and then you attempt to pick it up, and it's two of you, and we're defensive linemen, and we're
Yeah,
like, holy shit, someone hold the top of this because it's going to tip over. Because
yeah. I
like
think to me that one, if I was to pick top three LSU rivalries, I don't even know if it'd make my top three there. I think just because like the game started like in the '90s. I didn't even know. I knew there was a trophy. It always felt somewhat manufactured. Like neither school had a game to play there. They had to kind of toss it in. I didn't know there was like I don't hate Arkansas. I have a lot of I kind of like Arkansas. Like I like a lot of people from Ark. I didn't know Arkansas hated LSU until like 4 years ago. Until I met people that since I got out of college that went to college at Arkansas. They're like fuck LSU. I was like what? I didn't know that. I didn't know there was hate on one side of this thing. I thought this was like a real like a thing. We were just like yeah, we got this trophy we play for, but like, it's not real hate. Like we both rather beat somebody else on our schedule. Like I didn't know it had the animosity, and I think most LSU fans would tell you the same thing. I think they've started to accept it recently because it's been close games. But I think most people tell you the same thing. They're like, I didn't know that this was like a game that had juice because it never felt.
For me, the thing with, I mean, look, I do agree with you. LSU, Alabama, it's always going to be electric. It's always going to be two
Yeah,
teams who are, whether LSU's top 20 or top 10 or top 5, that game's going to have implications for somebody. It's going to be a huge environment. The whole Nick Saban thing, I think, kind of gave that game a lot of juice, obviously. And I think for the top for foreseeable future, I think it's always going to be competitive. But I'm kind of with Pete here. I think the Golden Boot thing's kind of cool.
Oh,
Me, if I'm picking a rival for LSU, I think it's Ole Miss.
I
I
think you're
agree.
gonna
Ole
say
Miss was my two. I just
I
didn't
think
think
and
Ole
they
Miss.
play it's the Magnolia Bowl. They play for a trophy there, the
Yeah,
Magnolia
trophy
Trophy.
dumb.
It's
I wish they didn't play for a trophy. I don't like the Magnolia Bowl trophy. I like the name of it. I don't like the. I think the trophy's stupid. I think they could redo the trophy. Like,
well, honestly, I think that's an argument for both teams. They neither one of them ever liked the trophy. They've redone it like three
yeah,
or four times already. It's a great thing, like, but trophies aren't everything. Like, make it a flag, make it something else, make it something
yeah,
different. It doesn't have to be a trophy. Make it something unique. Like the LSU and Tulane. I know it'll never be a
correct.
legitimate rivalry, but it was a towel or whatever it was. Like, make it. It doesn't have to be a trophy. Make it something. The Magnolia Bowl is big though.
It
It's
is.
big.
If I was ranking rivalries that have potential to be top five rivalries in the next 10 years, LSU Ole Miss might be one or two on my list because they're both kind of in the same place right now at like 9, 10 win seasons. And it looks like they're both going to be that game's probably going to decide whether one of them makes the playoff or not every year when you look back at it. So I think it's got crazy potential, just like I think Texas and Georgia has crazy potential to become like a real heated rivalry.
That's something that me and Cole kind of talked on too via our phone calls or whatever about new, like the birth of new rivalries and are they possible and what do they look like and how can they be established and stuff like that. And um, I'm more of a guy. I love the old school rivalries. I mean, I didn't even have Arkansas Texas, which is like a old
It's
deep
all super old school one.
old school rivalry. And Arkansas hates Texas in every sport imaginable. And Texas is the same way, but it's not one of those prominent ones that stand out. I think that's how new school rivalries kind of feel for me. It kind of it's like well, it's got to build. You got to have some years on it. It can't just be 1 or 2 years. It's got to you got to put some depth in it.
I'm very happy
Um,
that none of us put USC Notre Dame on our list. That's like one of the
well,
most overrated.
Bo didn't give us his list, but I know Bo is probably in a car on the way to on the way to the gym as
Man,
well.
look, I'll you talk about
Hey,
new.
I'm not gonna lie to you. They were almost in my top
I
five.
just
They were almost an
either
honorable
one,
mention because they've been playing so long. They've played for a long time. It's got some history behind it. You got to think about it. In '05, Notre Dame beats USC. USC's not going to the national championship to face Texas.
what I'm saying is, either one of them are good. Doesn't mean anything to anybody.
That's
Right.
what I told people. I can't recall how many times in my lifetime that they were both really relevant. So I don't. At the same time, I mean, look, I know they've both been relevant in their own times, but if one team is just ass and the other one's okay, it's like, I mean, how many national championships have USC and Notre Dame won since I've been alive? Like, come on now.
2. USC's won 2.
Well,
What are you
Yeah,
talking
so
about?
two.
and they've played on, but like I'll put it this way: the team LSU's played the most ever in the SEC is Mississippi State. Like that's not a I don't think that's a rivalry.
You talk about new rivalries too being born. One that I told Pete, I think Bama Georgia might have something brewing.
It
I mean,
definitely
since Kirby went there, it's kind of been a thing. I mean, obviously Kirby was a DC at Bama, so it wasn't like the LSU Alabama thing where it was like a head coach to head coach. It was like DC to head coach. But look, I think they're always going to be competitive. They're always going to be playing. We just did a home and home with them. This is our second year doing it. I wouldn't be shocked if that gets extended because I'm sure the SEC would love to have two of what you could consider at least top 5 teams in the conference playing every year. So we'll see, man. I do think rivalries can be born, obviously, still. Um, you know, it's gonna be hard in our lifetime to be like, oh, this is a great rivalry that's starting like this year.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when we're 80, like you're talking only 40 years from now, 50 years from now. I mean, 20 years for Pete, but whatever.
if LSU and Texas were to play every year, if they started that up, that's got potential to get. I think LSU Texas would be what the SEC wanted LSU A&M to be, and it just never. The problem with A&M is like they're so hard to be a rival with because like it's not fun. Like people just don't like A&M people. Like everything about A&M is so unlikable. Where it's not even a hate thing. It's like I just don't like you.
Yeah,
Like I don't want to go back and forth with you. I just don't like you.
yeah.
You give me the ick.
Yeah. Bo, do you have your top 5 rivalries or what?
Yes, I do. Sorry, I just got parked. Can y'all hear
No.
me okay?
Yes, bro. Let's go. Let's
Okay.
hear it.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right. So again, newer to college football, but these are just ones I've watched personally quite a few times, just from bigger names going up into the NFL world. So at 5, I've got Florida, Georgia.
Hey,
So I don't
which
know.
I was gonna say.
So
I don't mean
yeah,
to interrupt you.
Florida, Georgia. No, go ahead.
No, what's the name of it? Me and Cole
The
talks about it.
world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Yeah. And look, when the SEC was split, not to interrupt you again, but when the SEC was split, Florida, Georgia were always the 2 top teams in the East. That's always was. Booty, you remember. It was always Florida, Georgia in the East. And for a long time, Florida was just way better than everybody in the East. So they would just walk to the conference championship. And then same thing for Georgia. Once they started getting good with Kirby, they would just walk to that SEC championship every year. So no, that's a good pull. That's a great pull.
Love that.
So got that at 5. Obviously, I know we've touched on it plenty of times. It doesn't get any more American than 2 fucking service schools just absolutely just duking it out. So the Armed Forces game, love that this year, especially with both teams going in 12-1. That was a great game to watch. Uh, 3,
And your
I've got the
boy,
Red. What's that?
your boy.
Oh
What's it?
God,
What'd you
Blake.
call it?
Oh, yeah, Heisman Horvath. Oh, Blake Horvath. That boy was cooking.
Love where you
That
have
boy was
on the
cooking with
list.
gas.
Brain out of you. Terrific brain out of you to have him fourth. That's a headsy play, but I love that.
3, I've got Red River Shootout.
Hey, you said it right too. I love it.
So good classic matchup. 2, I've got the Iron Bowl. And then at number one, I don't think it's really any surprise, but I mean, I've watched this game and I wasn't even a college football fan, but Michigan and Ohio State obviously take the
It's an
crown.
incredible
So,
list.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
thought I'm not on you. I thought he was gonna pull it over our head. I thought he was gonna say USC Notre Dame. I was about to be like,
honestly,
oh shit.
honestly, I did think about it, but no. I do have Notre Dame and USC as my honorable mention. Only because, and I did look into this just a little bit, just between the history of both teams, and if you look back, I mean, both programs are, have produced like the most Heisman between the two of them. USC holds 9, Notre Dame's got 8, tied with Oklahoma, who gives a shit, and Ohio State. And then they've also produced, I think, between both schools, like the most All Americans, first team All American, or just All American honors in general. So you have a lot of accolades and really good athletes coming out of both schools, going and then playing in a pretty heated rivalry game. So that's just why I have it as my honorable mention.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I've said it on here before. I loved whenever they used to play this game, and Notre Dame's tactic was to not mow their grass the week before USC, so it slowed the players down. And they literally did the year of the push, the Bush took push was they showed clips of the grass, and they were like, look, they didn't mow it last week just because it's natural service and they want to slow them down, and it almost worked out for them.
Yeah. I respect that.
I
Shit,
think we're going to do Heisman talk. I think we got to shelve Heisman talk for next week.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're probably
we're at 51 minutes. We should probably shelve Heisman and Pete if you just want to close this out.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
right.
yeah. We'll definitely have to shelve this to next week, and maybe run through it quickly next week before we got what's on schedule. But
Well,
hey,
one take I want to get out there while it's fresh in my mind. I'm gonna make my national championship pick right now.
oh damn! Wait, let me make sure I write this down. It is July 15th. Buddha gives his pick. I want to hear it.
Look, and it's subject
All right.
to change. That's one of the great powers man has, is we can change our mind.
Oh no, this is it. This is it. If they don't win it,
Look,
if they don't win it, you gotta shave that beard. We've never seen a baby face Buddha. If they don't win it, you gotta
This
shave
is
that
a
beard.
recruiting commitment. I can always flip seasons around the corner. Right now, I'm picking Penn State.
You picking who?
Penn
Penn
State.
State.
Man,
What?
get here. Come on, Pete. Wrap this shit up. Get the get Buddha.
With that pick, calls like close the fucking show. Let's get the fuck out of here. Hey, all right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. We did have more on on hand, but we dug into these rivalries pretty good. And hey, I enjoyed it. And hey, Bo was actually here for the majority of it and gave us his picks, which is great. We're all different picks than what we made, so it's always fun. You got anything else for them, guys?
Oh, just don't ever forget Auburn's still not in the top 50 in recruiting rankings. Boop, boop, boop. Fuck Auburn.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all at the same time next week. As always, hook 'em.
Roll Tide.
First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces.